Season 50, war number 4, and we are up against CHÂØŞ, and this time my team will be Angela, Odin and Chee'ilth. I will be taking path 9 in section 1, path 8 in section 2, and then I will be taking a JJ, Iron Man Infinity War, as well as an arcade mini-boss. So, once again, not really a full war, but quite a few fights that I haven't taken before, as well as some paths that I don't usually take, such as this path 9 here. Starting off, we have a Void on the Hazard Shift, Incinerate and Poison node, along with Power Efficiency and Plod in the water, and I'm gonna be taking this fight with Angela. Now I already went ahead and placed the Odin pre-fights here and checked that they would stick, just to have those unique buffs on Angela to work with her sig ability to lower the duration of those damaging debuffs. Soon as I get one more unique buff here, the Hazard Shift debuffs will have a duration of 0 seconds, so I will no longer have to deal with them, which also means I'm not getting debuffs on me from anything else except Void's intimidating presence, and that means no constant damage simply from having debuffs. Void's own debuffs are easy enough to deal with, just cross a multiple of 10 in your combo meter to remove a debuff that is active or trying to activate on you. That's about all you have to do. Other than that, well, there's honestly not much else to say about this specific matchup. It's a fairly straightforward fight for Angela. You just hit the opponent, use special ones here and there for more furies, for more damage, and then you just keep doing that until the fight is done. Simple enough, it takes some cheap damage, but that's fine. Overall, the fight was fairly simple, and Angela just, well, she works very well for the fight. Then we have a Havok on the Hazard Shift, Incinerate and Poison node, along with Power Focus 1, as well as some other stuff that I forgot to check, and I'm taking the fight with Angela as well. Once again, I will be completely shutting off the damaging debuffs here with Angela's sig ability, and then any plasma that Havok may inflict on me, it's not gonna be a problem since armor up buffs prevent the plasma detonation. So even if Havok here manages to inflict all 10 plus plasma debuffs on me, I'm not gonna take the burst of damage, since I will always have an armor up on, so long as I keep using my specials. Well, essentially every time I get them. Now, Angela can also parry non-contact attacks, so Havok's first medium is parryable by Angela, making the fight just that tiny bit easier, but even then, the fight is very simple, as Angela shuts down basically anything annoying about the fight. Now, then, next up we have a path 8 in section 2 here, and I'm a little bit confused still about the placements. Surfer on the first node here is most likely Diversity, but the Hulkbuster after this, I'm gonna need someone to explain it for me. Regardless, here we have a Silver Surfer on the Inevitable Power Efficiency node, and I'm taking the fight with Angela, and there's absolutely nothing special about this one. Now, if Surfer here gains enough buffs throughout the fight, he will trigger the Power Efficiency at some point, making him immune to Nullify, as well as making his specials consume less power, but overall that's not really a problem, at least I wouldn't consider it one, since this guy is extremely easy to fight against. Now, something pretty rare happened there when Surfer used his special one. He used it at the exact frame his dormant buffs were switching, so instead of getting two stacks of the same buff, he gained one stack of 2 different buffs with a single special one there. It's a thing you can do on offense as well, to make him, well, maybe not all that much faster, but it gets you a unique buff with a single Power Cosmic buff. Can be useful at times, but overall it's not that useful, since it's tough to pull off. You gotta be frame perfect with it. Then here we have a Hulkbuster on the Reach Get Richer node, along with Inevitable Power Efficiency, and I'm taking the fight with Angela. Now, Hulkbuster here, he doesn't really gain any unique buffs apart from the armor up buff, and that gets dealt with by simply landing a critical hit on Hulkbuster. So the placement on Rich Get Richer is a little bit confusing. Regardless, Angela just shredded it without any issues. So if I'm missing something there, do let me know, because yeah, it's weird. Anyways, next up we have a Jessica Jones on the When I Open and Make a Stand miniboss node, and I'm taking the fight with Chee'ilth, and this is the only fight I brought her in for, and she shuts the fight down completely. First off, the way to shut down Jessica Jones's Unstoppable and the resistance ups, etc., is to just gain cleanses and cleanse debuffs. That's all you gotta do to keep the investigation charges down, and that is what Chee'ilth does very well. Now, JJ is a tactic defender, so you do need to be careful starting off so that you can slowly and safely gain that first clarity up, and once you do, then just be aggressive so you can keep getting more clarities before the previous one expires. So long as you do that, matchup is fairly simple and straightforward, since it's essentially a nodeless JJ at that point. But that is something to keep an eye on. A badly timed evade or an autoblock can mess you up, though if she does autoblock and parry you with, the cleanses will deal with the stun debuff, fortunately. Now, since this node has the When I Open node, I'm doing my best not to land any parries or parries and hits while the Make a Stand protection is down, as to not take any unnecessary damage. But that's not really a problem while the protection is up, which is why you saw me doing some hits while stunned during those times. Since the When I Open damage is based on the damage you deal to the opponent, if they are reducing the damage you deal by 90%, well, that also means you're not taking much damage from them from the When I Open node either, making the fight fairly simple to take. Then we have an Iron Man Infinity War here on the Hazard Shift Incinerate and Poison miniboss node along with stun immunity, and I'm taking the fight with Angela. Now, since this guy is a tactic defender, I start off by simply baiting heavy attacks and punishing them with my heavy to build up my first clarity passive. Once that is up, then I'm free to do whatever, hit him however I want, and he can't really do anything. So long as I don't eat any specials here, this is a free fight with basically no risk of dying. The heavies at the start were so that he wouldn't have a chance to auto-block me with the defense tactic, since heavy attacks, they can't be auto-blocked unless stated otherwise specifically on the node or ability description. Now the fight is almost over, just the final power gain phase to deal with due to this guy being awakened, but since he can't auto-block, I can just hit through the armor-ups here with no risk of, well, anything really happening, and the fight goes down pretty quickly and easily. Angela is a very simple champion, but a pretty powerful one at that. You don't necessarily need to be super complex to be usable or a potent attacker, and she just, well, I'm sure you've seen already what she can do. Then we have the final fight of this war, an arcade on the Conflictor miniboss node, along with the Combat Show Prowess node and whatever else, and I'm taking the fight with Angela. I do have the White Magneto pre-fight here to allow me to parry stun here, even with the Conflictor node, and the game plan is to just not throw any specials, since they inflict armor break debuffs. Just try to bait arcade special 2s only, avoid the first Fire Blast, block the 2 saws, and then dex out of the very last one. By not allowing the last one to hit your block, you prevent Arcade from gaining any of his tokens, and that means he won't be able to trigger his personal auto blocks or anything else it might do. I honestly don't remember. I just learned how to fight him, not exactly what he does, offensively or otherwise. Now, I did mistakenly let him use a special 1 there, but if you just avoid the poison cloud that it inflicts, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. And, well, even if he does get some tokens throughout the fight, the clarity from the attacker tactic will be there to prevent the auto block regardless, so overall it's just a fairly straightforward fight. You just hit him until he drops and that's about it. The biggest risk here is accidentally pushing him to special 3 if you forget about the conflictor node and throw a special, but so long as you're just patient, it's fine. And, well, at this point there was a slight problem. I dropped the clarity passive, so I had to make sure my next few hits were while he was parry stunned. Otherwise he would have been able to either evade or auto block. And, well, this is a 7-star defender, they can hit pretty hard. Overall, this war was quite simple, no real mistakes. And Angela is just a very potent attacker. And not just for this tactic either, though normally I probably wouldn't be assigned her, since I'm usually on the more difficult fights on the war map, which require some more specific counters. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 10-5. Not the greatest war, but a win is a win.